Good evening, everyone. Cole here with trainwithcole.com and another YouTube video. Before I begin, there's a couple things about this video have changed compared to my last video. The first you might have already noticed is that I'm sitting in front of a bookshelf. The scholarly YouTubers do this, so I figured I would start doing it as well because it might make me look smarter. Maybe not, I'll let you be the judge of that. But books are a wonderful thing. And you see I have a lot of them on this bookshelf. I have another bookshelf that's full of books. Maybe I'll sit in front of that one sometime. I don't know. The second thing I'm doing is I'm going to drink from this coffee mug before I begin. And this mug is a good mug because it has a wonderful message on it. And it says, don't forget to be awesome. So you, person watching this video, don't forget to be awesome today. Anyway, so yeah, you guys can tell me if this ambiance adds to my videos or not. I hope that it does, because I feel like a lot of times fitness videos in general are full of either really high energy people or just folks rambling in front of a screen, of which I'm guilty of sometimes. So maybe you like my calmer, more seductive way of doing videos. I don't know. Okay, so let's be a little more serious. So today's video comes by way of a question from somebody on bodybuilding.com. I had over the last couple weeks have posted about ketogenic or just low carb, higher fat style diets for weight loss. And someone asked me a question on the workout training log that I keep on bodybuilding.com if I would recommend a ketogenic style diet for contest prep for a physique show, related show, bodybuilding, physique, figure, whatever. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit today. Of course, to get rid of all the general caveats, what I'm going to talk about is my general thoughts, my general recommendations. There's a lot that would go into just the individual specific diet of somebody if I was working with this person, especially if we had a time frame of which we needed to lose however much body fat to get stage or date specific ready. It could even be for a vacation or a photo shoot, not necessarily a physique show, but that was the question that was broach. So I think there's a couple things you need to think about when doing a keto style diet for contest prep. First and foremost, let's realize that a keto style diet is a tool like any other dieting practice. It's something that could be used at certain parts of a diet. It could be used for long periods. It could be used on a daily basis, throughout a week maybe, depending on how the person processes fats. How do they handle fats, as well as how do they handle carbohydrates, to what degrees, and just how do they respond to the certain breakdowns of macronutrients in general. So really need to have a good handle on that before you would be able to decide. But if you're somebody who says, hey, I want to try a ketogenic diet, I have this show date or the specific date I want to be lean by, so I would recommend a couple things. Number one, if you're starting off rather chunky, meaning you maybe need a solid 20 to 25 weeks to diet before a show, or your date that you have set to where you want to be lean, I think you could use a ketogenic diet. I think a cool strategy to use would maybe be to start that diet off in kind of an aggressive keto style, maybe 2 to 4 week period where you really pull, if you've been eating a lot of carbohydrates and you're just overly fat, you pull those carbohydrates out, bring them down real low, jump your fat up a little bit to what would be more a keto style breakdown, and ride that out for 2 or 4 weeks. You could probably really dig into fat stores. I would recommend this as coupled with a high activity output for this 2 to 4 week period, really kind of ramp up what you're doing in terms of exercise and diet, and you can actually see some significant weight loss in that time. I've done similar things before, and you can really see some cool changes pretty quickly from a fat loss standpoint when doing that. So that'd be my thought number one. Then after doing that for 2 to 4 weeks, you can reinduce carbohydrates, kind of reset a little bit, scale back your activity, and then kind of do a traditional style diet where you have all 3 macronutrients in and you kind of decrease as needed as time goes on. A second way you could do this, you could do a less aggressive keto approach, but maybe for a longer period of time. So maybe you take 6 or 8 or 10 week period, if you know that you handle keto well for long periods of time, do that. If you have, say, a 20 week diet in front of you, Give it a 6 to 8, 10 week kind of shot. See how far does that get you, and then if you hit a plateau, or if you stall, or if you have tremendous progress, but you want to start bringing back in some carbohydrates and changing things in that regard to help help your training, to maybe present a bit of a fuller look. If you know that you do handle carbs somewhat well, then you could start reintroducing those down the road after you've had some significant fat loss from the keto style. There's nothing wrong with doing keto the whole time through, I guess, per se, for contest prep. I know people who have done that, and it's worked really, really well for them. In those scenarios, they've normally had some kind of refeed every 1 to 2 weeks, where essentially they bring their fat down low for a day and they skyrocket their carbohydrate intake, just kind of refill glycogen, get a bit of a psychological relief from the diet. It increases their training for a couple of days afterwards in terms of just their physical output, their strength maybe. But they do that for the entire 12, 15, 20 week period. And I think people who are just fat processors or people who handle fats really, really well can do this style diet no problem. They are strong in the gym. They get lean and shredded. And then when the show comes, they could do a kind of fat load or rapid back fat loading, or, really any kind of related couple days before the show prep magic stuff, which isn't really magic, just a simple way to make yourself peak for the day, and look totally fine on the day of the show or whatever their target diet finish date is. So really nothing wrong with that. I think, though, you really need to just determine if you handle carbs poorly, and if you handle fats well. You need to just really know that about yourself or about the client in question. Again, as always, you want to make sure you give yourself plenty of time when you're dieting. You never want to try to crash diet. I would not use keto as a crash diet. Oh, crap, I only have a couple weeks and I need to be lean. Let's do this and try to... That's never, ever going to work out well. You're going to sacrifice muscle tissue or fullness, and you're not going to look as good as you possibly could. Now, I know I said you could do a little bit of an aggressive keto at the start of a diet, which would be fine because you then hopefully have 16-ish weeks to reset and do a traditional diet. I would not crash diet. If you have to crash diet for some reason, you need to try to push back the date of either the show, or you just need to accept the fact that you're not going to look as good as you wanted to. So those are my thoughts on doing keto for contest prep. Again, general, but hopefully you could extrapolate some thoughts and things to consider when and how would it be wise to do that. So let me know what you think. Comment below. Let me know what you think about the books and the coffee. So anyway, catch you guys next time.